What's going on, everybody? This is Kyle Manzolini. I just got back from seeing Gladiator 2. Now, going into the movie, I was pretty excited. The trailers looked pretty good. Looked like it had some great action. The cast, I went in expecting the cast to deliver a good job because I like a majority of those actors that are in it. I'm a fan of Pedro Pascal. Denzel Washington, I know, can always deliver. I was interested in seeing how Paul Mescal would do, since I have not seen him in anything before until now. So I was curious to see how he would do. And the first movie, of course, is excellent. And knowing the case with legacy sequels, they're usually not as good. Occasionally you'll have a Top Gun Maverick that's exceptionally good, or a Twisters that is still a boat ton of fun. But I thought for what they were trying to do, they were able to get as good of a sequel to Gladiator as you could get out of this. Like, this is a fairly solid sequel, in my opinion. I want to first start off with the cast. Paul Mescal, I thought, did a pretty good job as Lucius. And I liked how his character was evolved throughout the course of the movie. And just how he was able to get from his lowest point to ultimately finding his strength. And I thought Pedro Pascal did a good job, as always. He brought some oomph to the movie, as well as Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington just looked like he was having a boat ton of fun making this movie. Like, his presence just made the movie work really well. And he's quite the formidable foe. And Connie Nielsen, who returns from the original, I thought did pretty good for the amount of time that she was there. And I also thought Joseph Quinn and the guy that played his twin brother, I thought were great. Like, they're just crazy lunatics that you love to hate. So, for that, they did a fairly good job. But I thought the action was good for the most part. For some reason, I expected it to be a lot bloodier than it actually was. Like, it didn't have the brutal oomph of the first movie. But you still get a fairly solid amount of action here. And for the bloody bits that you do get, they're serviceable. They're pretty good. And I thought the sets and the production design and all that stuff looked good too. It looked like all of that money was spent fairly well. And Ridley Scott did a fairly good job directing this. I think it's fascinating with a man his age still making movies and making them as entertaining as they are. It's crazy to think, though, that he did this and Napoleon because we just had Napoleon last year. And the fact that he was able to crank both of these out a year apart from each other is nuts. But, yeah. The commitment that he has to still making these grand epics is astonishing to me. Some flaws. There are some parts that go on for a bit long. It's about 2.5 hours, but it kind of feels a smidge longer than that. Like, I wouldn't, like, if you told me this was 2.5 hours, which was the pretty much exact runtime of this movie, I'd be like, yeah, that's fair. The first movie, I think, was a bit longer, but it was more interesting and was definitely more brutal. Like I said earlier, I was expecting it to just be a lot bloodier than it actually was. Because the first one was very brutal, and just the blood and the carnage was more authentic and had more shock to it. Like, they weren't really going for shock value here, which is fine. Like you could still get away with a bloody, violent movie without having to without having a genuine shock moment. But I just kind of expected it to be bloodier than it was. And also, like I said earlier, some parts do drag. But I think with those aside, this is still a fairly solid movie. It's as good of a sequel to Gladiator as you could possibly get. And I overall had a fairly good time with it. Now, do you need to see this in IMAX or a large format? While it'll definitely help enhance the scale and scope of the movie, just like seeing the Colosseum and all the vast, grand shots of the movie would look really nice on a large screen, but you don't really need to spend the extra money to see it larger. You can just go to a regular theater like I did, and you'll still able to have a pretty good time. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Gladiator 2. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.